The tension between Israel and Hamas continues to decelerate day by day. Although most countries in the world are calling on the parties to peace, there is no news of a ceasefire from the two sides. There has been a dispute between the two sides that has been going on for many years. Throughout their history, Israel and Palestine have always faced off. We may be experiencing the last wave of this today. According to most war writers, it is said that he will suffer very great losses on both sides. In particular, there are too many articles that Palestine will be erased from the map. Dozens of children lose their lives every day because of bad managers, malicious people, people with perverted souls. No matter how hard the battle is, it is unacceptable for innocent children to die. Hamas has killed hundreds of Israeli innocent civilians in its attacks. Israel, on the other hand, rained bombs on areas where there were innocent children. Power is not just guns and bombs. Compassion, courage, these are the greatest forces in war. A famous saying of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, the founder of Turkey, comes to mind. War should be mandatory and vital. My true belief is this: when I take a nation to war, I should not feel any torment in my conscience. We can go to war against those who say we will kill because we will not die. But if the life of a nation is not exposed to danger, war is murder. Now we can move on to the daily news. 6 of the Israeli war. During the day, he intensified airstrikes against Hamas's military infrastructure. Hamas also continues its rocket attacks against Israel. But the biggest obstacle in front of them is the Iron Dome. Old Soviet-era rockets used by Hamas. The Iron Dome can easily destroy them. However, although Israel has failed, it continues to advance by land. There is an intense conflict in the Gaza Strip. The Israeli army has developed a powerful tactic to block the entry of Hamas militants. This tactic is called, without eating a blow, throw a blow. The Israeli military says it is preparing for the later stages of the war against Hamas, which could include attacks from the air, sea, and land, and significant ground operations. The Israel Defense Forces said in a statement Saturday that the effort covers hundreds of thousands of enlisted reservists and will cover a wide range of operational attack plans. In October, in addition to the combined and coordinated attacks, the Israeli ground forces and the Army's logistics leadership prepared IDF troops for an extended battlefield, the statement said. The Army said the forces involved had received the equipment they needed for combat in recent days. IDF battalions and soldiers are being deployed throughout the country and are increasing operational readiness for the later stages of the war, with an emphasis on significant ground operations, the statement said. Throughout the week, there have been growing signs that Israel is preparing for a possible ground invasion of Gaza, the densely populated territory ruled by the Palestinian militant group Hamas, which carried out devastating terrorist attacks in Israel on October 7th. The Israeli army has now mobilized 300,000 reserve soldiers for an unprecedented offensive into Gaza. The hottest clash of the day took place a few hours ago. Hezbollah and Israel have been engaged in a long-term conflict in the disputed region. The explosions and rumblings near Lebanon's border with Israel lasted for a little more than 2 hours. This was one of the longest-lasting clashes between Hezbollah and Israeli forces since a flare-up decamped in this volatile border region a week ago. At 15:15 local time on Saturday, Hezbollah opened a volley of fire on Israeli positions in the disputed Shabaa farms, according to a statement by the Iranian-backed armed group. Shabaa Farms is a disputed strip of land between Lebanon and Syria, controlled by Israel and adjacent to the Israeli-occupied Syrian Golan Heights. Dick. In a statement, the Israeli military said that Israeli forces responded to fire in areas near the Shabaa farms. A CNN crew near the area heard continuous crossfire, which appeared to be mutual artillery fire. The cross-border firing began less than 2 hours after the funeral of Issam Abdallah, a Reuters journalist and native of southern Lebanon, who was killed during an Israeli attack on Friday. Hundreds of people flocked to the border town of Qiyam from all over the country. Issued a statement early on Saturday condemning the UN and the US for deliberate ignorance of Israel's role in the attack. On Friday, Hezbollah announced that it had attacked 4 locations in northern Israel. Israel also opened fire on several areas in southern Lebanon. Abdullah was killed in one of these attacks, and several international journalists were also injured. Remember, this conflict is centered in northern Israel and southern Lebanon. It is separate from Israel's conflict with Hamas, which is based in Gaza, further south. However, the increase in clashes with Hezbollah has raised fears that the powerful Lebanese paramilitary group could become actively involved in the conflict. Hezbollah has openly supported Palestinian militants and openly condemned Israel's large-scale airstrikes on Gaza, but has so far not intervened on behalf of Hamas. The group has explicitly linked its attacks on Israel to Israel's targeting of Lebanese territory, and the clashes remain limited to this border area for now. The 6-hour deadline granted by Israel for Palestinians to flee Gaza has expired. Saturday, December's 6-hour deadline for the Israeli military to warn Palestinian civilians to complete the evacuation from Gaza City to the southern part of the Strip ended at 16 o'clock local time, 9 a.m. ET. In a message posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, told residents to move towards the Gaza Valley. Given the current power and internet outage, it is unclear how widely the message has been received in the field. The Israeli military's warning came a day after it told the 1.1 million people living in northern Gaza to evacuate their homes. The IDF has flooded the border with troops and military equipment amid the relentless assault on the area in retaliation for the large-scale attack by the militant group Hamas on October 7th. Earlier on Saturday, IDF spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Richard Hecht said that Israel's air, land and sea blockade of Gaza will continue until the 7th day. We are preparing for the next stages, he added, but did not share any information on whether and when it would be a ground attack. Israel has warned that they will shoot anyone approaching the Gaza border. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, said it had carried out small raids near Gaza, issuing a stern warning that anyone who approaches the border will be shot at. IDF spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Richard Hecht said the army was preparing for the next stages, but did not share further information. Israel has flooded the border with hundreds of thousands of troops and military equipment as it escalates the siege on Gaza. However, it is unclear what kind of operation the IDF is preparing for or when this may take place. Hecht said 2 people were killed while approaching the border security fence, which the Israeli military is still trying to secure. He did not give further details on whether they were civilians or armed. It is clear from the information we have that Israel is preparing a major attack. Most news channels are talking about an unprecedented attack. The Israeli army is filling the Gaza border with soldiers and equipment, just like Russia is doing to Ukraine. It is currently unknown when Israel will launch an attack, but according to journalists on the ground, it is not far away. The 6-hour deadline given by Israel to civilians in Gaza to evacuate the area has expired. The fact that the attack will take place this week is among the predictions. However, it is not clear how many Palestinians have heard this warning due to the lost electricity and internet problem in the region. Israel is preparing a major attack with 300,000 military personnel. Such a large-scale war has not been seen in the Middle East for many years. Regardless of the outcome, the children have no crimes. Our only wish is that young children who do not choose to come into this world will be protected. He is not sensitive to civilians and children on both sides. We hope there will be an end to this.